right, we're on objective 2, practice for measuring circles, and we have a circle with a circumference of 28.26. What is the diameter? So let's recall the formula for a circumference of circles is c equals pi d. Now if the circumference is 28.26, we can put that in place of c, because that's what the circumference equals. Then we have pi times the diameter. Now, pi is not just a symbol, pi is also a number, 3.14. So in place of pi then, we can put 3.14. Now the only variable we have is d, and we can solve for d. We are multiplying here, so we need to do the opposite and divide by 3.14. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Okay, and then we will divide 28.26 by 3.14, which gives us 9. So the diameter is 9. Okay, so we're using that formula for circumference, but we're actually using it backwards for working backwards. Let's try another one. The circumference of, what is the circumference of the following circle? So now we're given the diameter, goes all the way across. We're trying to find the circumference. So we're going to use that same formula, but now we're going to use it forwards, the correct way. So pi is 3.14, the diameter is 3. Multiply those together, we get 9.42 would be our circumference. Okay, our next link is working with area. It says, what is the area of the following circle? And it says we can enter an exact answer in terms of pi or use 3.14. So you could put in the pi symbol, or you could put in 3.14 for pi. The area formula is a equals pi r squared. The diameter is 8. The radius is half of that. So the radius would just be 4. So let's use 3.14 for pi. And then we're going to plug in 4 for the radius and square it. The first thing we have to do, remember, if you follow order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we have to do parentheses and exponents first. So 3.14 times 4 squared is 16. And then we'll do 3.14 times 16, which is 50.24. So our area is 50.24. And remember, that is units squared. Area is always units squared. All right, now we have a radius of 3. What is the area? So we use the same formula, a equals pi r squared. We're going to use 3.14 again, and our radius is 3. Make sure you square the number before you multiply by 3.14. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3.14, ooh, that's going to be like 28.26. Let's plug that in. Excellent. Okay, let's do one more of these because this is a little bit more difficult problem. It says find the area of a circle with a circumference of 12.56. Okay, so we know the circumference is the formula c equals pi d. We're trying to find the area, a equals pi r squared. So if the circumference is 12.56, we can put that in place of c in our formula. Pi is 3.14, and then we don't know the diameter. But now the only variable we have here is d, the diameter. If we solve for d by doing the opposite of multiplication, divide the other side by 3.14, then we know our diameter is 4. If our diameter is 4, we know our radius is half of that, so our radius is just 2. now that we know the radius, we can now plug that into the area formula to find the area. So pi is 3.14, our radius is 2. We're going to square that. 2 squared is 4. So 3.14 times 4 is going to give us 12.56. Okay? Now that actually turned out to be the same as what the circumference was, but that's only because our radius was 2, and when it's 2, the radius doubled is the same as the radius squared. So that is not going to happen every time, but it will turn out to be the same. That just happened to work this time. What you need to use are both formulas. Work this one backwards to find the radius, this one forwards to find the area. We get 12.56. All right, next link. Word problems. An experienced ice skater spins on the ice, creating a perfect circle. Afterwards, she calculates that it must have a circumference of 25.12 feet. What is the diameter? So that is circumference, which we know is pi d. In place of c, we'll put 25.12. In place of pi, we'll put 3.14, because then we can solve for d. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. Divide both sides by 3.14. 25.12 divided by 3.14 is 8. The diameter is 8. And that's what they're asking us for. All right. One more. A teacup has a radius of 2. What is the teacup's diameter? Okay, remember radius is half of the diameter, so we just double that. We get a diameter of 4. All right. And the last link, which is area and circumference of circles challenge. It says an engineer is planning a new water pipe installation. The circular pipe has a diameter of 20 centimeters. So the pipe has a diameter of 20. Okay, what is the area of the circular cross section of this pipe? So actually all we have to do is find the area of that circle. So we use our area formula again. I hope you're starting to realize how important it is that you know these formulas, because we're using them all the time. Okay, if the diameter is 20, that means the radius is 10. Pi, let's leave it in terms of pi this time. Oh, actually we have to. It says give your answer in terms of pi. Okay, so it actually makes it a little bit easier, because all we have to do is square 10, which is 100, and then we put pi on the end. That's going to be our area. Now when we plug that in, they give us the pi symbol right here. Just 100 pi is our area. Okay, the area of an extra large circular pizza from Gambino's Pizzeria is 484 pi centimeters squared. What is the diameter of an extra large pizza from Gambino's Pizzeria? Okay, so they told us the area. That means we're using a equals pi r squared. So in place of a, we're putting 484 pi, because they told us that's what the area was. The rest of it, pi equals r squared. Now, we're trying to find the diameter. In our formula, we have the radius, but we know that if we find the radius, that's half of the diameter, so we can just double that to get the diameter. So what we want to do is solve for r. Well, we want to get rid of this pi. We can do that by doing the opposite of multiplication, which is division. Divide by pi, that just goes away. Do the same thing on the other side. Divide by pi, that pi goes away. So we have 484 equals r squared. Now we have to figure out what times itself is 484, which would actually be, you take the square root of both sides, which turns out to be 22. Okay, this symbol is on your calculator. If you plug in 484 and then put in that symbol, it'll tell you what the square root is. Square root is what do you multiply by itself to get 484. Okay, so it's working backwards. The opposite of squaring a number is taking the square root. So if the radius is 22, then that means the diameter is double that, which is 44. All right, that's all for examples. Let's get to practice.